Hi everyone, in this lecture we will write our first Python function. So I have created a new folder with the name functions, and inside that folder I have created a new Python file with the name function underscore intro.py. So let's get started. In the previous lecture we have learned that there are two mandatory components of a function. One is the name and the second one is the body. So first of all, let's declare here the name of the function name. But we need to tell the Python interpreter that treat this name as a function, not as a variable. So for this purpose, before this function name, we need to define a keyword that is def. So now the Python will understand that okay, it's a function name, not a variable. And then just put these rounded brackets, and we are not passing here parameters for now, just leave it as it is. And now we need to define the body of the function. So defining any kind of bodies, whether it's a body of a loop, it's a body of a conditional statement, you need to put a colon before it. And now let's define the body of the function, and I'll go with a simple dimple print message. So just write here print, and I'll say hi, I am function. It's a simple message. So this is how you can define a function. First of all, it's a def keyword defining a function, and then function name, and then these rounded brackets, and later on we will pass parameters, but for now just leave them empty. And then we have a colon because we need to define the body of the function. Let's run the program. Just click on this run Python file, and boom, we got nothing. And the reason is that we have just defined a function, but we are not calling it. So let me explain it a little bit. We have hundreds and thousands of built-in Python functions like length, print, input, etc. But whenever we run our program, they don't get executed. And the reason is that they are defined, but we are not calling them in our program. So that's why they don't get executed whenever we run our program. But once we call them in our program, then Python understand that okay, I need to execute that particular function. And same is the case with this function. So we have defined this function, but we are not calling this function. So we need to call it in order to execute the block of code. So let's call this function. So just write here function name and put these rounded brackets. So this is how you can call a function, and it's look very similar to our print function. Okay, so as you can see, our this built-in function and user defined function are same in syntax. So let me remove this print function. Let's save it, and now let's run it. And now we got our message, hi, I am function. Now let me write here another print function, and I'll say hello world, and let me give some spaces. Okay, so as you can see, this print function is outside this def. Okay, and now what are you expecting? Will Python print this message first, or will it print this message first? Because we have defined this function before this print message, but we are calling it after this print message. So what are you thinking what we will get? Let's run it and see the output. Okay, so we got hello world first, and then we got hi, I am function. And the reason is that here we have just defined the function, but we are calling it right here. So Python will replace this statement with this block of code. So we will get hi, I am function after hello world. So let me give you a real demo. So let me put here some breakpoints. Let me debug this Python file. So first of all, the Python will read this line. As you can see, it's in yellow color. And let me go to the next. And then the Python will come to this print function, because here the Python will understand from this def keyword that okay, it's a function definition and I need to skip the rest of the block. I don't need to understand it because it's a function and I need to consider it whenever user call this function. And that's why the Python has skipped this portion, which is the body of this function, and jump to this print function. And now if I move to step number 3, as you can see, we got hello world, and the Python interpreter is now on this line, function underscore name. So here the Python will understand that okay, I need to execute the body of this function. So now if I click on this again, as you can see, our interpreter has shifted from this position from line 7 to line 2 again, because Python has understood that I need to execute the body of this function which I have read in the beginning. And now if I click on this continue button again, we got hi, I am function, and everything is done. So I hope that you have understood how to define a function, and I'll see you in the next lecture where we will learn some more interesting things about function, and I'll see you there. Bye bye.